Welcome to another episode of How Not to Survive Everyday Life, where common sense goes on vacation and natural selection throws a party. Today's video dives deep into the minds of people who challenged the laws of physics, ignored basic safety, and bet against Darwin, and lost. From flaming barrels to selfies with elephants, these aren't horror stories. They're cautionary tales with a twist of comedy and a dash of disbelief. So buckle up, try not to lose IQ points, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you enjoy watching others learn life's hardest lessons, the hardest way possible. Let's get into it. Number 1. Ah, yes, the majestic Icelandic glaciers, a breathtaking sight best admired from a safe distance. But not for this particular tourist. No, our hero thought, why follow the rules when you can climb frozen death traps in sneakers? Disregarding every sign, rope, guide, and ounce of common sense, he ventured alone onto a glacier like a one-man National Geographic crew. The goal? A dramatic selfie near a deep, icy edge, of course. And right on cue, the glacier introduced him to its best-kept secret: hidden crevasses. One misstep, and whoosh, down he went. Now, falling into a crack in a glacier isn't the same as tripping over a curb. There's no oops, my bad when you're 40 feet deep in an ice coffin. Rescue teams eventually found him, but it was too late. He had become an unfortunate frozen statistic. Remember, folks, glaciers aren't your Instagram backdrop. They're nature's version of do not enter. Number 2. Ever watched Jackass and thought, I could do that. Hold my lighter. Well, this Aussie legend did one better. He decided to combine barrel rolling, hill racing, and a light splash of gasoline for that extra Hollywood explosion vibe. I mean, what's more adrenaline pumping than lighting your own ride on fire before you get in? He hopped into a metal barrel, soaked in fuel, got a friendly push, and off he went, tumbling downhill at warp speed like a steel meteor. Halfway down, friction met flammable ambition, and let's just say the fireworks began inside the barrel. Trapped in his DIY inferno, escape was no longer part of the plan. Who needs an exit strategy when you've got a can of gas and a dream? This is the kind of decision-making that says, I saw it on the internet, so I must do it worse. Number 3. Father-son bonding, baseball, camping, emotional repression. Or in this case, free climbing a cliff without ropes because tradition. Inspired by his dad's old-school macho approach to conquering vertical death walls, this young Brazilian decided to climb a rock face, known for crumbling faster than a teenager's excuses. Despite every warning and gravity itself, he scaled the cliff solo. Unfortunately, nature has no appreciation for family values. A loose boulder decided to betray him mid-climb. Let's just say the proof of manhood fell a bit flat. Literally. While we love a good coming-of-age story, maybe skip the part where your rite of passage involves battling geology with no harness. Number 4. We all want to double our money overnight. Some people just really believe the emails promising it. This man in Nigeria decided to go all in on a get-rich-quick scam. You know, the kind where your lucky day involves handing over your life savings in a sketchy alley behind a goat market. Carrying his cash and confidence, he met the fraudsters in a remote location, expecting a miracle. When the deal went sideways, as all miracle money-making schemes tend to do, he confronted the scammers head-on. Not surprisingly, these weren't customer service-oriented criminals. It ended poorly. Pro tip: if a stranger promises you millions for a small upfront deposit, ask yourself if the words honest thief make any sense. Sometimes the only thing that multiplies is the regret. Number 5. Some people go fishing, others go poaching, because who needs ethics when you've got a net and a dream? This gentleman ignored multiple warnings about crocodile-infested waters because clearly he thought he was starring in Crocodile Dundee, the illegal edition. While setting up an outlaw fishing operation, his net snagged on something. And instead of saying, "Well, guess I lost a net," he waded in deeper like it was bathwater and not, nature's version of a shark tank. Spoiler, a local crocodile didn't appreciate being interrupted. Let's just say the croc reclaimed its turf, one poacher at a time. We can't say for sure what the last thought was, but it was probably along the lines of, "Oh, that's why the sign said don't go in." Number 6. A woman fueled by nothing but blind enthusiasm and an overestimation of her rodeo readiness decided she was ready to mount a full-sized bull at an amateur event. No training, no experience, just pure cowboy spirit. Minus the skill set. As you might guess, the bull was less than thrilled with this arrangement. She was launched like a frisbee at a 4th of July BBQ, landing in a fashion that did not scream 8-second ride so much as 0-second survival. This, dear viewers, is why professional bull riders train for years and wear helmets. So remember, unless your name is stamped on a rodeo belt buckle and you've made peace with gravity, maybe stick to mechanical bulls and line dancing. Number 7. This tale is the very definition of don't judge a book by its cover. Our star of the story spotted a tiny electric fence surrounding a local farm and thought, "That thing couldn't zap a mosquito." Well, turns out it wasn't so tiny on the inside. While attempting a late-night, produce-related 5-finger discount, he climbed over the fence and made direct contact with a live wire. Let's just say he had a shocking realization about underestimating rural infrastructure. It wasn't a laser tripwire from Mission Impossible, but it got the job done. Lesson learned? Don't treat electric fences like spaghetti noodles, and definitely don't test voltage with your torso. Number 8. In the land of windmills and waffles, the Dutch also enjoy a New Year's tradition known as Carbidon, the festive act of stuffing calcium carbide into a milk can, lighting it, and watching it go boom. Think of it as the Netherlands' answer to Hold My Stroopwafel. One participant, feeling especially festive, or maybe just physics resistant, decided bigger was better. So instead of your classic small milk can, he brought out the industrial-sized family pack version. Then he upped the carbide dose like he was seasoning a steak. Boom! Let's just say the resulting blast was less festive pop and more space program launch, and our explosive enthusiasts didn't stick around to see the ball drop. Once again, tradition met testosterone and lost horribly. Number 9. Copper. The shiny metal that inspires both electricians and opportunists. In this case, a would-be thief decided to play DIY scavenger by cutting copper cables from a live substation. The place where energy goes to become more dangerous. Believing he'd just score some quick cash, he cut into what he thought was just a wire. Spoiler, it wasn't. The cable lit up like a Christmas tree and gave him a farewell jolt that could have powered a small village. Sometimes the real crime isn't theft, it's underestimating electricity. Let this be a PSA. If your get-rich plan involves tools and high voltage, maybe it's time to pick a different hobby, like knitting. Number 10. Weddings are all about making memories. But this groom decided to electrify his big day, literally. Mid-ceremony, and likely under the influence of a few too many celebratory beverages, he wanted to impress his guests. What better way than to climb a high-voltage power pole and strike a pose like a Bollywood superhero? Let's just say, the only thing he struck was a live wire. Before the reception could even start, the groom was already unavailable for the honeymoon. His spontaneous decision to mix booze, bravado, and industrial electricity made this wedding one to remember, mostly for the guests' trauma and the catering waste. To any future grooms, lifting your bride is impressive. Lifting yourself onto a power pole is not. Number 11. Let's talk about a man with guts. And by the end, that's literally all that was left. During a hot sauce eating contest in the US, this spice enthusiast decided that moderation was for weaklings. Instead of backing out after a few drops like a rational adult with working taste buds, he dove headfirst into a sauce with a Scoville rating so high it could probably double as jet fuel. Tears were shed, nostrils were cleared. Internal organs? Let's just say they filed for early retirement. Unfortunately, his heart couldn't keep up with the molten lava party happening in his digestive system. He experienced a rapid system shutdown, proving once and for all that spice is not always nice. Let this be a lesson, folks. If your hot sauce comes with a hazard label, maybe don't use it as a beverage. Number 12. Russia. Land of bears, balalaikas, and bravado. One brave, or rather incredibly misguided soul decided to challenge his friends to a vodka showdown. The goal? Who could finish nearly 2 liters the fastest? Because nothing says great life choice like chugging the entire contents of a bar in under an hour. Spoiler alert, his liver didn't find it amusing. Despite winning the unofficial title of most fermented human, his celebration was short-lived. Turns out the human body has this pesky thing called a limit. And he found it. Fast. Next time, maybe just sip and enjoy. Or better yet, stick to sparkling water and bad decisions that don't involve toxic levels of alcohol. Number 13. Here's a tale from Brazil that sounds like it came straight out of a cautionary tale handbook titled What Not to Do While Inebriated. A man feeling invincible after a few too many adult beverages decided he could beat traffic, literally. While attempting to cross a busy highway, he locked eyes with an oncoming bus and thought, I got this. He did not. Now, we've all misjudged a crosswalk or two, but trying to outpace a moving public transit vehicle? That's next-level optimism. Sadly, his timing was just a bit off, and the laws of physics weren't in the mood to compromise. Note, if you can't remember your shoe size, it's probably not the best time to play live-action Frogger. Number 14. Locked out of your apartment? No key? No problem. Or so thought this modern-day action hero who decided to break on through to the other side like a one-man SWAT team. Faced with a reinforced glass door, he figured the best course of action was shoulder-first impact, probably accompanied by a dramatic grunt and some cinematic music playing in his head. Unfortunately, that door had one job, to not open easily, and it did it beautifully. The glass shattered, but not before delivering some very sharp feedback. While the door was eventually defeated, so was the man's day and night, and well, future plans. Tip: if the door doesn't open, maybe try calling a locksmith, not auditioning for Fast and Furious Apartment Edition. Number 15. Winter sports and alcohol. A combo as legendary as it is ill-advised. In Finland, where the snow is fluffy and the saunas are hot, a man decided his backyard party needed a little more velocity. Inspired by nothing but beer and blind confidence, he built a ski ramp using household junk and launched himself down it, aiming to land with Olympic grace. What he forgot was that shallow landings and high speed skiing don't mix. He took off like a majestic eagle, an eagle that never learned to fly. The end result? Well, let's just say he didn't stick the landing. But he did stick the legacy, joining the ranks of people who confuse YouTube stunts with real physics. If you're going to build a ski jump, maybe make sure your engineering degree doesn't come from the school of 6 beers and a duct tape blueprint. Number 16. Let's talk about the happiest welder in Italy. And by happy, we mean spectacularly unaware of combustion science. This gentleman had one job: weld a fuel tank. Simple enough, right? Except he skipped one teeny tiny step, draining the actual fuel. You know, the highly flammable liquid sloshing around like a Molotov smoothie inside the tank? Instead of dealing with that, he just fired up the torch and got to work like it was a Sunday pasta session. Unfortunately, gasoline and fire go together about as well as spaghetti and thumbtacks. The result? A very sudden chow from this world and an impromptu fireworks show for everyone in the vicinity. Tip of the day: if your job involves sparks and flammable liquids, maybe don't mix the two like it's a chemistry class you're trying to fail. Number 17. In Newcastle, UK, one man bravely took on gravity. Spoiler: gravity always wins. It was during one of those classic British winters, the kind that makes your tea freeze mid-sip, when a building grew a set of icicles that looked more like medieval weapons than decorative ice. Despite clear warning signs screaming "Stay back" and "Danger, falling ice," our hero strolled underneath like he was in a snow globe commercial. Maybe he thought icicles were made of marshmallow. Maybe he was auditioning for a winter-themed Darwin docuseries. Either way, he walked straight into nature's version of a slapstick anvil drop. When the largest icicle decided it had enough clinging to the roof, it dropped right on his head with the grace of a frosty guillotine. Remember, icicles are not festive chandeliers. They're frozen spears of doom. Stay indoors, folks. Number 18. What's better than one person throwing caution into the wind? Two in perfect unison. In Germany, 2 aspiring athletes, or perhaps auditioning video game characters, decided the best way to prep for an obstacle course race was rooftop parkour. Who needs a treadmill or a gym when you've got concrete, gravity, and a total disregard for spatial awareness? So there they were, jumping from rooftop to rooftop like urban gazelles, probably humming their own action soundtrack. But then came the jump that separated fantasy from physics. Both misjudged the distance, both took the leap, and both learned the same lesson. Gravity doesn't do do-overs. It's rare to see a synchronized Darwin moment. But these two earned their medals in style, matching jumps, matching landings, matching outcomes. Gym memberships, people, way safer. Number 19. We've all made questionable online purchases at 2 a.m. But some folks take experimentation to an entirely new and extremely unnecessary level. This US man decided that what his love life needed was hardware. Specifically, a snug metal ring on a highly sensitive region of his anatomy. Hey, to each their own. But instead of calling it quits when things started swelling like a balloon animal, he bravely, or foolishly, decided to wait it out. You know, maybe the ring would just loosen up. Spoiler, it did not. By the time he realized he needed medical assistance, it was too late. Let's just say that cutting off circulation to your, Personal pride is not recommended without a medical license or common sense. As the ancient proverb goes, don't put rings where rings shouldn't go, especially ones made of steel. Number 20. Now for one of the boldest acts of confidence ever recorded. In Nigeria, a self-proclaimed spiritual leader had a vision: stage his own resurrection to prove he was the real deal. So he had his followers bury him in a shallow grave, promising to rise after 3 days like a homegrown miracle. There was just one issue. He forgot to file the dig me up part with his accomplices. Maybe they missed the calendar invite. Maybe they were just terrible at timing. Either way, day 3 came and went, and he was still recharging underground permanently. Listen, if you're going to fake a resurrection, maybe try practicing on a magician's assistant first. Or at least leave a spare key to the coffin. If you're faking miracles, make sure your audience knows it's a performance and not an escape room challenge. Number 21. Paris, the city of love, croissants, and questionable solo hobbies. This French gentleman took the idea of dangerous pleasures to a whole new level. Inspired by who knows what internet forum, he decided to spice up his alone time with a bit of rope play. Unfortunately, his setup had one minor flaw: it lacked any form of safety mechanism. The rope tightened a little too well, and suddenly he went from romantic thrill seeker to Darwin nominee faster than you can say non merci. Let this be a lesson. If your weekend activity requires knots and physics, maybe don't go it alone. Or better yet, maybe just stick to pastries. Number 22. If you've ever thought, you know what would make my car better? Less safety, you may want to reconsider your life choices. This gentleman in the US decided modern car manufacturers were simply too cautious. So he rewired his vehicle's ignition system to bypass those pesky safety features. You know, the ones that stop your car from randomly starting and running you over in your own garage. With everything rigged and ready, he leaned in to check his handiwork. The car agreed and started all by itself, rolling forward and pinning him like a DIY hydraulic press. Irony: when your safety bypass bypasses you from life. Pro tip: if the people who built the car added a safety, maybe don't undo it. Number 23. Some people live for the gram, others don't. On a picturesque tour in Thailand, this tourist spotted a majestic wild elephant and thought, wow, what a perfect selfie opportunity. Guide said no. Warning signs said no. The elephant size and very elephantness said no. But our brave influencer pushed forward, phone in hand, ignoring every cue from both humans and nature. And the elephant, let's just say it had opinions about personal space. If your selfie involves a multi-ton wild animal, maybe ask yourself, would Steve Irwin approve of this? If the answer is probably not, step back and zoom in digitally like the rest of us. Number 24. Some reporters go the extra mile for their story. Others take the plunge, literally. In Brazil, a local TV reporter wanted to add some drama to his segment about local waterways. So he thought, let's jump off a bridge into a river. It'll be great for ratings. Unfortunately, the river wasn't deep enough for drama, just shallow enough for disaster. Ignoring basic physics and any form of pre-check, he dove in headfirst. Spoiler alert, the riverbed does not make a good landing pad. You've got to admire the commitment. But next time, maybe green screen it. Or just report the weather, much safer. Number 25. If you've ever thought nothing goes better with a sandwich than poor timing in a train, allow us to present Exhibit A. In the bustling heart of Delhi, One man decided that lunchtime profits waited for no one, not even a 400-ton locomotive. Armed with his trusty sandwich cart and an appetite for risk, he attempted to cross an active railway track during rush hour. Because what could possibly go wrong? Now, trains in India aren't exactly known for tiptoeing, and yet he misjudged the oncoming blur of metal and momentum by just, let's say, several football fields. The result? A sandwich cart demolition that didn't make it onto any food blogs. No matter how grilled your cheese is, it's not worth trying to beat the express train. Even Subway stops at crossings. Number 26. What do you get when you combine testosterone, illegal street racing, and a road barely wide enough for one car? A physics experiment you can't run twice. In Mexico, two men decided that Mario Kart rules should totally apply to real life. No permits, no safety gear, and absolutely no concern for traffic laws. Just a narrow stretch of asphalt and the burning need to prove who had the faster ride. They lined up, revved their engines, and floored it like it was Fast and Furious, Backyard Edition. But instead of a photo finish, they got a front-end fusion, meeting each other mid-lane, with the kind of result that insurance adjusters have nightmares about. This epic display of synchronized, poor decision-making earned them a rare double Darwin Award. Because why settle for one catastrophic choice when you can make two at once? And there you have it. A full collection of people who boldly asked what could possibly go wrong and got their answer in 0.2 seconds. If your brain somehow survived this journey through humanity's greatest lapses in judgment, give this video a like. Your neurons deserve it. Got your own unbelievable story of near disaster or witnessed someone else defy logic in spectacular fashion? Drop it in the comments. If we get enough, we might just feature your tales of heroic stupidity in the next episode. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, because around here, learning from other people's mistakes is a full-time sport. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and maybe don't try any of this at home.